camera on? Whoa! I know why you do that. Just being here makes me want to do that. Wow. I get you're affected by what is in your past, and you deal with that. And I grew up in a dead church that wasn't going anywhere. And Ashley'd been there. The stage looked the same for 147 years. The lady that played the piano played for 147 years in the church, and she played the same way for 147 years. It never changed. It never got better. It never grew. The church never grew. There was never a new building. There was not one thing different than it was 147 years ago. And I get God is not concerned one little bit with buildings and sound systems and all of that. But the outward always is a manifestation of the inward. Everything Jesus taught, he talked about that. And to come here, and my goodness, are you kidding me? Where this music was 6 months ago? I mean, Esteban, I don't even recognize your voice and the work you put in. My goodness, the sound and the stage. Look at this. That purpose, and look at this up here. From where we were, we had a saddle with cobwebs on it, the building over here, and now we got 3-phase run to that building, and now we got power run that building, and all of that is a manifestation of what's happening in people's lives here, and that's what. Whoa! That's just why. That's all you can say. You just see what God is doing in this place, and it's infectious. It just gets in you, and you're ministered to by just being here. And it wasn't but a few months ago till I couldn't wait till the music got over here. And I thought, dear Lord, if I don't preach, God's not going to be anywhere around here. And until now, I don't want to preach. I just want y'all to keep playing. Look at the blue lights and the light. Everything is a manifestation. And listen to the sound in this building. It used to be so bad you couldn't hear. You were in a tin can in here. And now to hear the sound of the music in here is, look what God is doing. Look what God is doing. And you are blessed to be a part of a church where God is doing something. You're blessed to be a part. And Esteban has just gone from here to outer space in just no time. The work and the planning and the effort and what we're doing here, God's doing something here, and you're blessed to be a part of this. And I've been a lot of churches, and I've been around in a lot of churches. I speak in a lot of churches, and this one is unique. And you are blessed beyond measure. And what happens is familiarity just breeds contempt. It always does, and you just begin to take for granted what is happening here. And coming from outside in here, I can tell you, don't take for granted what God's doing here. This is a wonderful, wonderful, rare, and unique thing in the hearts of the people that are working here and serving here. My goodness. And even opening the gate, Rusty, your outfit was astonishing out there. It's amazing what God is doing here. You just see a bunch of men and a little kid gnaws his chute, and here comes a man dragging out of the chute, holding on to the tail of a calf. That don't happen everywhere. I want to see this kid succeed. I want to see this kid, and I just say it all the time. It just takes more than one monkey to have a circus. And y'all got a full-blown circus going on here. I'm just telling you. And don't ever underestimate what part it is that you do. And whether you're up here behind the keyboard or whether you're holding on to the tail of a bucking calf in the chute coming out, God's using your hands and using you in a special way to minister to the hearts of the people. And just watching those little boys down in that chute with men down in that chute with them and holding on to the tail and grabbing them by the head and watching a little boy get bucked off and not hitting the ground because some guy was right there catching that kid. That stuff is what God sees. That's what God notices. And I've said this forever, but when we get to heaven and we see the seating in heaven, we're going to be surprised. We're going to be surprised at who's important and who wasn't all that important. And there's a lot of big famous preachers that are going to be somewhere at the end of the line, and there's going to be some chute help that was in there holding the tail. Y'all got to do something about the pollen in this room. It's terrible in here. I don't cry. I hate being around criers. I'm not going to be around a bunch of sissies, but the pollen in here is awful. All right, I can't. I had some more I wanted to say about this church, but I can't and preach. So one of the two things is going to have to happen. I'm about to have a meltdown right here. God, dog, Jerry, how God's using you. Y'all stop asking me to speak. I ain't coming here no more. For those that don't know me, I don't cry. I don't like people who cry. And I'm a good speaker. Other places, just not here. Yeah, I mean, the Spirit of God on this ministry is overwhelming. It's just overwhelming, and y'all are blessed. You're blessed to be a part of this. You're blessed to be a part of this ministry and what God's doing through Bubba and Tammy. Stood out here in an old sagebrush field, an old burnt-out prostitute house. You know, God uses the foolish things to confound the wise, and he sure does. He just sure does. It's amazing. I've got a great word for you if I could ever get to it. Years and years ago, I was changing some insurance. And to do that, they told me I had to get a blood test. Okay. All right. And so I got a blood test. And the insurance company called me in a few weeks and said I was denied. What? So I was denied for insurance. No, what do you mean I'm denied? Said, yeah, you've got diabetes. No, you got mine stuff mixed up with somebody else's stuff. I don't have that. I got mad. I don't go to the doctor. I don't believe in doctors. I don't go to doctors. I'm never sick. I'm a cowboy. Cowboys don't go to the doctor. And I feel fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Well, yeah, except for you got diabetes. Well, just very mad. I got an appointment with a doctor, and I went in and had some blood work done. And the doctor told me that my A1C, my sugar level, was way high, way high. He said, your triglycerides are some 700. He said, I wouldn't get in the car with you. You have a stroke before you get home. Your sugar levels, your triglycerides are so... no way. Once again, you got my test mixed up with somebody else because I don't feel bad. There's nothing wrong with me. And it was ridiculous to me. I couldn't wrap my head around it because there was nothing wrong with me. I was strong. I work hard on a ranch. I can outrun a chainsaw with anybody. I can run post hole diggers beside anybody, and can't nobody keep up with me. I'm tough. I don't. This is not right. And in my aggravation and frustration, my doctor began to talk to me about silent killers. And the doctor explained to me about the diabetes that I had, and he said it's a silent killer, because it's over time, without realizing it, what's in your blood is slowly going to destroy you. And then he started talking to me about I was going to lose my eyesight. Down the road, they'd start amputating my toes and my fingers and then my feet, and then your internal organs are going to start shutting down. This is going to eat your kidneys out, and you'll be on a dialysis machine. And so he was explaining all of this, how my life was going to be destroyed. I want to talk to you a little bit today about silent killers. About silent killers. We're just going to have a little doctor's visit today. In our church in Hot Springs here as of late, we've been spending a lot of time in the parables. And Jesus say the kingdom of God is like mustard seed. The kingdom of God is like a farmer. The kingdom of God is like, the kingdom of God is like, so we spend a lot of time in these parables. The kingdom of God is like a son, and he went out and did. Well, Jesus used real life examples to explain a spiritual truth that is very real, but let me explain something in the spirit by using a natural physical example. Now, obviously the kingdom of God is not a mustard seed. Clearly, that is a parable using a physical example to illustrate spiritual truth. So I want to ask you today, and I want you to work hard with me, because I don't want you to get caught up in my personal analogy here, because this is not a health class, and this is not a class about sugar diabetes. Nicodemus did this same thing with Jesus. Jesus talked to him about, in John chapter 3, about being born again. Nicodemus said, what, I got to climb back up in my mother's womb? See, he just could not get spiritual truth separated from the example that Jesus is trying to use. And so today, here for a few minutes, I want to talk about a real deep spiritual truth that I want everybody in here to get, from the youngest to the oldest. I want you to get this. There is a silent killer that wants to destroy all of us, and it wants to destroy America as a nation as well. And there are many who are just like me. I'm fine. I don't need to go to the doctor. I'm fine. I feel great. There ain't nothing wrong with me. See, I don't go to church because I don't need to. Too many people don't understand silent killers. So I don't go to the doctor because I don't need to. I don't go to church because I don't need to. There's a lot of folks that don't understand silent killers that are in operation. Now they have a crisis, and all they can see is they lost all their money, or they lost their marriage, or they've lost their job. So they come running to church. See, well, you hit a crisis, and so you start running to the doctor's office. You start running, but many run to church when they have a crisis, but you waited too late. See, you can't come. See, what would have been nice had you gone to the doctor's office 30 years ago, and we got your blood sugar under control. But now that your kidneys have stopped working and you run to the doctor's office, well, all I can do is put you on a dialysis machine, just try to give you a few more months to live. And so that's what happens to me as a pastor. Folks run to the church and won't help. And, well, you know, if you would have come here 30 years ago, I could turn this around. Let me do what I can do to try to give you a couple of more months to live before your life completely derails here. If the header turns this steer left, and I round the corner to make a heel shot, and as I round that corner, his feet go out from under him, and I fall, the horse falls on me and breaks my leg. Clearly, I'm going to get up and go to the doctor. I got a broke leg. I can't live with that. I got to have some help. Well, the devil can't destroy your life with something like that, because, see, you're going to do something about it. What the devil wants to do is a silent killer. So I didn't have a broke leg. I felt fine. Nothing was wrong with me, but over time, my diabetes was going to get a toe, is going to get a foot, is going to get a hand, then it's going to get an eyesight, then it's going to get a kidney function. All the time, I didn't feel bad. See, the situations arise that make you realize, okay, I got a problem, but it's too late. It's too late when that happens. Your sugar level has destroyed your life. In life, we got silent killers, and you don't realize them, but they're all around us. You know, here you are in high school. You made decent grades. You passed. You did fine, but you got recruited, got to college on a rodeo scholarship, and so then you started partying, and then you started late nights, and then you started clubbing, and you started having fun drinking, and woo, you didn't feel bad. Everything was great, and you didn't even notice. But then when the semester grade comes out, you've lost your scholarship. See, you've lost what you didn't realize it. It was a silent killer. You thought you were having fun, and you never felt bad, not 1 minute, until the thing got you. See, in your marriage, you're just having some fun. It's no big deal. And you're working late and you're staying at the office and there's a girl that you work with. And, it ain't no big deal. And everything is, boy, you're having fun and your marriage is taking. And then all of a sudden she says she's leaving you. Whoa. Well, it's too late. See, we should have recognized this a long time ago. It's called a silent killer. And life is full of silent killers. And you have to live knowing this. For me, not checking my blood sugar level, just living my life, here's what I'm telling you. There wasn't nothing better in the world than honey buns. It's the best thing in the world. And you chase them down with a Mountain Dew. And there's nothing, it made me feel so good at 6:30 or 7 in the morning to start my day out with a convenience store honey bun and a Mountain Dew. And it was so good, that started wearing off about 10:30 or 11. And so the next convenience store I passed, my truck would pull in, I'd get another honey bun and another Mountain Dew, and that would roll me till about 3 o'clock. And then since I was in there, I'd get 2 honey buns and a big Mountain Dew, and that could roll me on. And so I was having 4 or 5 honey buns a day. I love donuts. I love sweet rolls. I love the center of a sweet roll. So you have all the outside ring, just get me that heart of the sweet roll. It tasted good to me. It satisfied me. And a doctor said my A1C was 7.9. My triglycerides were 700. Okay, whoa, well, I don't know about that. The doctor starts telling me, Tim, honey buns are full of sugar. Biscuits turn to sugar. Watermelon and strawberries turn to sugar. Mountain Dew is full of sugar. And he said, your pancreas does not process sugar correctly because you're a diabetic. Now, here is a list of foods you can't eat. And I started looking at that list, and it was every single thing that I ate was on that list. Everything that I ate was on that list. So I want to argue with the doctor, what's wrong with me eating that? Everybody eats that. What's wrong with me eating that? That's not fair for you to tell me. Who are you to tell me I can't eat that? Because everybody eats. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I don't get it. I feel great. And man, I feel really good when I eat that. It tastes good. What I didn't realize 30 years ago was in life, I was asking all the wrong questions. So I was asking the wrong questions. I was asking, did I like honey buns? The answer was absolutely I did. And if they, like a shelf life on a honey bun is between 17 and 23 years. And the longer they had been on that shelf, the better, more sugar they were full of. It just grew in there. And so, do I like biscuits and gravy? Absolutely I do. Do I like donuts? Yes, I do. Do I like sweet rolls? Yes, I do. Do I like cherry pie a la mode? Yes, I do. That was the wrong question. The question is, will that produce the life that I ultimately want? You're asking the wrong questions. You're asking, do I like it? That's not the right question. Does it taste good? Is it fun? Is everybody else doing? That's the wrong. The question is, here's the deal. I want to be happy. I just want to live in peace. Okay? I want to have a pocket full of money. I like a pocket full of $100 bills. I just do. I want to live pleasing to the Lord, where His blessings are visibly all over me and everything I get involved in. I want to live where everything I touch is blessed. I buy a horse, I buy cows, whatever I buy, it's blessed. That's where I want to live. I want to live with a great marriage. I want a wife that adores me, that cares for me, that waits on me. When I walk in the door, her first thing is, what can I get for you? That's what I want in my life. Okay, the right question is not, do I like it? Not is everybody else eating it. Not is it fun. The right question is, will this produce what I just said I wanted? Yeah, it's fun going clubbing on your way home Friday night. But will that produce the wife and the relationship that you just said you wanted? See, drinking a little here and a little there is so good, then let's drink a little more here and there. Okay, did you hear what I said I wanted? Okay, will this produce that? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? I'm just asking you, what do you want in life? Okay, will that produce this? That's what we're asking. See, for me, the fact that I love convenience store honey buns, to me, that made it okay for me to eat them. If I love them, then it's okay for me to eat them because I love them. See, the fact that my friend who I was with ate a half a dozen donuts in the truck beside me, that's not the deciding factor as to whether I'm going to eat a half a dozen donuts. See, the fact that I was at a party and everybody at that party was eating birthday cake and ice cream, that's not the deciding factor whether I'm going to eat birthday cake and ice cream. I had all the wrong perspectives in life. All my friends ate this and I loved it. Then what's wrong? Who are you to tell me that's wrong for me? What drinking and drugging and sex at every rodeo in the back of the horse trailer with whoever's there, what that produces, is that what you said you wanted in life? Is that, here's what I'm talking to you about. Silent killers. Silent killers. Today we're just having a little doctor visit. Today I want to read your lab work. Let's just read your lab work. Are you a little high on worry? Are you a little high in fear? Are you a little high in depression? Are your numbers a little high in anger? Are you a little high in insecurity? Your numbers a little high in insecurity. Are you having bad thoughts? Are your numbers a little high in jealousy? Are your numbers a little high in anxiety? I'm just asking, is life really working for you? Is everything in your life just really working for you? See, what you eat, your diet produces what's in you. Movies, internet sites, pornography, hanging out with friends with privileges. See, all that is fun, but is that going to produce in your life what you really have listed as what you really want in life? Here's the problem. I didn't eat one honey bun and take a sip of Mountain Dew and my kidneys stopped working. Now, I wish they would, but they don't. See, you don't look at a pornography site on your phone and your life just fall apart before you can get it turned off. It's pretty neat. As a matter of fact, it's really neat. There's nothing better than looking at that porno site. Man, wow. Oh, that was neat. Let me find another one to look at. Whoa, that first honey bun was so good, I wanted another one. See, it's called a silent killer. Now, when you break your leg, you're going to go to the doctor. I got to get this fixed. But see, silent killers ease their way into you over time. Ease their way into you over time. Here's what I found out. Diabetes runs in my family. It came to me by my father. I've got a bad genetic. I inherited something from my father that I'm predisposed to that thing destroying me. It's pre-existing genetic that I have. I've got an inherited gene of diabetes. Anybody ever read Romans 5? I can see some of you smiling because you can figure this sermon out. Romans 5 has a lot to talk about our inherited gene from our father. Our father, Adam, passed us down a sin nature. We're born with a bad gene. We're born with a bad gene. We got pre-existing issues that we came here with. Now, there's no arguing with me on this point, by the way. There's just, you're not going to argue me on this point because I have seen 2 kids and a room full of toys. So don't tell me we don't have a genetic default. One kid gets a toy, and now there's toys everywhere to play with. What toy does the other kid want to play with? Every time. Not all the time, but always all the time. He wants to play with the one toy that kid's got. See, we got a genetic. Nobody taught selfish. See, I'm taking my 2-year-old to the nursery. Now, son, listen carefully. When you get there, when one kid picks up a toy, you immediately go and take that toy away from him. Nobody taught the 2-year-old that. See, you put a kid in a Walmart basket, and I want that. So then, now look, listen carefully to me, son. When I say no, you throw yourself in the floor of that basket and start kicking your feet and slamming your head against the side of the cart. Did any of you moms teach your child to throw a temper tantrum in the floor? Now look, watch me. Let me kick in the floor. Now see, kick. Watch me. I want to show you how to do this. See, has any of your moms ever, now look, you're just 1.5, so you don't know this. But whenever we get to the daycare today, I want you to grab another little girl by the arm and bite her right here. Just bite, and I mean take a chunk out of that. Now pay attention. See, here's how you do this. We're born with a bad gene. We inherited from our father Adam. Romans 5 talks about this. No one teaches a child to put their hand toward an electrical outlet. The mom says no, pulls her hand back, and then they reach and do it again. Oh, okay, I'll never do that again. Good, I'm good to go. No, they do it again. See, who taught that kid to be rebellious and go against, I just told you don't touch that. And then you reach and touch this again. Now look, here's the way we're going to do this. When mommy says don't touch that, you make sure you always reach and touch it again. No one teaches rebellion. See, we got a bad seed from our dad. Adam, Romans 5 talks about this. There are other places in the Bible. See, we were born with what it's called a sin nature, a carnal nature. Now, son, you're only 3. You're only 3, but now let me explain this to you. When a girl walks by with a real low-cut blouse, make sure you just kind of lean in. Drop your mouth. This little drool will come down here. See, look, son, do you get this? Now, look, son, you're only 2, so you don't get this. But let me teach you. When a girl in tight jeans walks by you, who teaches a guy to do that? Did anybody ever teach you to do? Who taught you to look at a girl in tight jeans until she went completely around the corner, and then you just kind of, well, where did that come from? It's just a genetic problem you got from your dad. See, you were born with a blood disease. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but no one has ever had to teach you how to destroy a marriage. We're having a conference next weekend when everybody comes. We're going to teach how to destroy your marriage. It'll be Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday night. We're going to teach you how to wreck your marriage. No, we have marriage conferences to teach you how to stay married, but there's not ever a conference. Well, Tim, I just don't believe in the sin nature. Then why don't we have conferences on how to go bankrupt? It's going to be a Thursday night, Friday night. When everybody in the church is attend, we're going to teach you how to overcharge and go bankrupt. No, we have financial classes, but we can go bankrupt on our own. Why? Bad seed. It's an inheritance problem that we were born with. So don't tell me mankind's not born with a sin nature, because I'd have to ask you, then why are there no conferences on how to wreck your marriage? Well, we don't have to preach on Sunday morning 3 ways to get yourself fired. You can handle that. What we want to teach you is how to overcome that desire that you have, and it's going to get you fired to stay employed, see? Just a bad seed. Born with, and let's go ahead and call it. See, I was born with a diabetic seed. We're just going to go ahead and call this a sin nature. Just a carnal nature seed. Now, my pancreas doesn't handle sugar. So, I've got to not feed my body sugar because of a pre-existing inherited fault. Because of a pre-existing inherited fault, I don't look at pornography. See, because of a pre-existing inherited fault, I don't go clubbing. Because I know over time what that will produce if I do that night after night, weekend after weekend. Because of this pre-existing inherited seed, I know where that's going to take me down. Is this making sense to you? We're just born with a little problem. We're just born with a little problem. It's just a bad seed. I've got a pre-existing fault that I was born with. So I can't be by myself with some girl that I'm not married to. See, it's a pre-existing problem that I was born with. It's called a silent killer. And if you don't address this, you're going to wake up down the road and you're going to lose some things that were important to you. My feet, my hands, my eyes, they're fairly important to me. My kidneys, fairly important to me. And Tim, if you don't address this right now, down the road, you're going to wake up and you're going to have lost some things that were important to you because you have a pre-existing inherited. Are you getting this?
Man, really good. Really good.
Absolutely you have fun clubbing. Absolutely you have fun drinking. It's just a blast doing it. That's the wrong question. That's not the right question. The question is, with my genetics that I got from my father Adam, with that sin nature that's passed down to every man, if I don't watch what I eat, this is going to fuel the anger that I was born with. If I don't watch my diet, this is going to fuel the depression that I was born with. See, I was not born with depression. I'm not born with depression. I was born with cockiness and pride. Okay, so if I'm not careful, are you getting this? But see, you have a bad seed. You were born with depression. And you fought that. Your mom was on medication for depression. Your grandmom was on medication for depression. You were born with that seed. So if you don't manage your diet, you're going to feed a genetic defect that came down through an Adamic sin nature that was passed to you. I don't care how many at the party are eating birthday cake and ice cream, my pancreas won't process that correctly. So for me, I'm out. I'm out. I don't care how many at the party are drinking that or doing that, but for me, I'm out because it won't take me where I want to go. The point of this is years ago when my doctor brought me face to face with the outcome. And he clearly, I'm just mad. You're not telling me what to eat. I can tell you right now, I like it. It tastes good. I enjoy it. And I can tell you right now, you're not going to tell me what to eat. I'm not going to tell you what to eat. Let me explain the outcome to you of where you're going to be in a few years. Well, he explained it to me in a way I could understand it. He got my attention. He got my attention of where my life was headed. All the while, I was strong as a bull and felt great. But he made me understand where my life was headed. And when I walked out of that doctor's office, I changed my diet. Do I still like white bread? You bet. Do I still like apple cobbler with ice cream? Especially when it's hot. Oh. I will always love hot blackberry cobbler and ice cream. I will die loving blackberry cobbler and ice cream. I will always love it. It will always taste good to me. But I never eat that because of what it will produce in my life, all because of the genetic defect that I have. Now, here's what you're going to have to do, the doctor says. First of all, you're going to have to get a right diet. And you're so far gone, you're in such bad shape, we're going to have to put you on medicine to control your diabetic issue. See, for us with a silent killer, here's what I'm telling you today. We just have a little doctor's checkup. Here's, by the way, in case I forget to tell you, I just had a doctor's appointment. My levels are better than they've ever been. Ever been. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm healthier than I've ever been. But it's because of two things, diet and medication. And I'm very stickler taking my medication right on time. Okay, let's start. Number one, your diet. What do you feed yourself? What music do you listen to in your truck? What TV shows do you watch? What do you do on TikTok, on Facebook? What sites do you go to entertain? I mean, let's talk about your diet. Is your diet feeding the silent killer that you have inherited from your father Adam? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with my music? What? I'm just asking you. Is it feeding? See, you got a bad seed. My father Adam, I've inherited a sin nature. Now I'm feeding that, and I feel great, but it's a silent killer. It's a silent killer in your life. The doctor said to me, with diabetes, you feel fine. Just keep right on eating what you're eating. Just keep right on. But he so got my attention, and that was over 30 years ago, I made a diet change. Because I don't want to wake up one day and have my kidneys not working. Here's what I'm asking you. What are you putting into yourself that over time is going to get you? Over time, it's going to get you because of that sin nature that's been handed down to you. You got to watch your diet. Number one, you got to watch your diet. Number two, you're in such bad shape, your diet's not going to do it. We're going to have to put you on medicine. Okay. We're just having little doctors. You're in such bad shape, I need to put you on some medicine. You're going to have to read the Word 2 times daily. See, you're going to have to be in church 3 times weekly. Once a day, twice a day, 5 times a day. However many times a day you talk on the phone to friends, you're going to have to talk on the phone to friends who will speak the Word to you. Amen. See, 5 times a day, you call a different friend that'll speak the Word to you. See, I'm just on medication. I got a little problem I was born with. I call Bubba. Bubba, how's it going? Man, it's going great. Let me tell you what God's done. Let me tell you what God's done. Let me tell you what God's done. I hang up the phone, I think, God's no respecter of persons. If He's done that for Bubba, He'll do that for me. So I just took a little pill. So I just took a little medication. So I'm good, but I've got to take medication 4 times a day. So in a few hours, I call Ashley. Ashley, what's that? Man, let me just tell you what we're doing. We're doing this, we're doing that, and God just did it. Let me tell you about our service last night. Okay, good. See, I got to take medication 4 times a day. See, and so I call. Are y'all getting this? So, see, it's not only my diet, but I'm on medication. And here's what's happened. Here's what's happened to me. My whole life's changed. My whole life's changed. Oh, Tim, just look at the life you're missing out on. All the Sonic flurries, all the sweet rolls, all the white bread sandwiches instead of that old wheat bread stuff's like cardboard, all the homemade ice cream. Wow, look at the life you're missing out on. Okay, here's what I think about. Here's what I'm missing out on. I'm missing out on having a stroke, cutting my feet off. I'm missing out on losing my eyesight. I'm missing out on a stroke because of my triglycerides are 800 or 900 instead of under 200. See, yeah, I'm missing out on a lot of things. I'm missing out on a lot. See, young people, you're just missing out on so many things. You're missing out on the police chasing you. See, you're missing out on your girlfriend calling and saying she hadn't started her period in the last 3 months. See, you're missing out on a lot of things. Here, let me just tell you, here's what you're missing out on. Your wife leaving you. You're missing out on losing your college rodeo scholarship. Now, we've legalized, and it's legal. We've legalized marijuana and gambling and alcohol and pornography. Let me just tell you, it's legal for me to eat honey buns. It's legal for me to eat donuts. I'm not asking whether it's legal or not. What I'm asking you is, will that take you to the life that you want to go given your pre-existing disease? Will it take you where you want to go given what you have inherited from Adam? And you've inherited some stuff. You guys, I can tell you what you've inherited. I'm a doctor, and I can tell you what you have inherited as a male. Let me tell you, you've inherited anger or rage. You were the kid that bit the other kids. They had to quit taking you to daycare because you bit everybody. See, you got an anger issue, and you've had since you was 1.5 years old. You got a rebellion issue, and you have since you were a year old. Your mama said don't, and you just looked at her and did it anyway. See, you got a rebellion. I can tell you, you got some issues that you were born with. Watch out. Watch out. It's a silent killer. My lineage goes back to Adam. Through that inherited seed. It's legal. It's fun. It tastes good. Everybody else is doing it. Stay out of my business. Bubba, leave me alone. Who are you to tell me Bubba, what I can do on Friday night? I'll come to church on Sunday, but you leave me alone on Friday night and Saturday night. Bubba just knows about silent killers. He just knows about silent killers. Why else would he give a fat rip about what you do on Friday or Saturday night? He just understands silent killers and where that will take you in your talented life right now. One day, silent killers will cost your marriage. It'll cost you scholarship. One day, it'll cost your kids. They'll hate you. See, one day, it'll cost you a job. One day, you'll lose your home. One day, you'll lose your whole business. One day, you're going to be facing one surgery after the next, all because you would not adhere to somebody telling you about silent killers. 30 years ago, I sat in a doctor's office. He explained to me what he was going to be amputating on me that would no longer work on my life. And I left that doctor's appointment, and I made a lifestyle change. And now I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm still riding. I still rope. At my age, I rope about every night of the week that it's not raining behind my house. My kidney function is good. Doctor just checked it. Your kidney function is great. I hadn't got anything cut off. Right now, I'm just having a little doctor's appointment with you. I'm just having a little doctor's appointment with you. I realize you feel good. I realize you're having fun. I realize everybody, I got all that. I get it. Pornography is a lot of fun. You love it. You daily love it. It's a silent killer. It's a silent killer. I'm just letting you know that straight up right now. Clubbing, it's fun. I got all that. But I'm telling you, silent killer. Drinking with your buddies, it's fun. Being out in the woods, build you a fire on the creek bank. All of y'all sitting around the tailgate of a pickup truck, music playing. I get it. It's fun. But you're going to wake up one day and you're going to lose some things that was important to you. Getting alone with a girl that you're not married to, it's a lot of fun. But you're going to wake up and you're going to lose some things that were important to you. I learned about silent killers years ago. And because of that, Terry and I are still married, and we're having fun being married. We're having a blast being married. See, I learned about silent killers. I saw pastors get taken out by scandals. So I made sure I had a bunch of protection around me all the time. All the time, making sure that doesn't happen to me. Tim, you would. In a heartbeat, I got a bad seed. I was born bad. Got a genetic defect. I was born with lust. Nobody taught me how to do that. I was born with it. So I just got to make sure that I'm taking my medicine. I got to make sure that I'm eating right. And I got to make sure that I'm watching out for that silent killer in my life. There's an endless list of silent killers. Silent killers in church. 3 of you girls getting together and gossiping, running another girl down. Here in the Christian school, 2 of you moms getting together and running the school down and running the administration down and talking about how bad they are and how horrible they did and how they didn't treat your kid. It's a silent killer. You're just gossiping about the administration school and how they're running it. And you just keep on. Watch where that takes you down there. It's a silent killer. See, did you hear what they did today? You're not going to believe what they did today in my kid's classroom. You're not going to. Okay, just keep on doing that and watch where that takes you down the road. Is it fun? Wrong question. Does it make me feel good? Wrong question. Is it legal? Wrong question. Is everybody else doing it? Wrong question. Just live knowing you got a genetic birth defect. It's a silent killer, and it'll get you in your life. Y'all bow your head with me. I won't ask, was I talking to anybody in here? Because you'd be lying if you said I wasn't. I know about your father. I know all about him. I've read about him throughout all the way from Genesis 1 all the way to the end of the Bible. I've read about your dad. And I've read about the seed that he's passed to you. It's a sin nature. It's genetic. You're born with it. So I already know about your inherited defect. We all got it. Now, what part of that is playing negative in your life? What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now that if you continue to do this, it's not going to produce a great home, a great family, down the road, a great... What are you doing right now? I'm young, I'll worry about that later. Oh yeah, well, later, it's already too late. See, your kidney's already destroyed later. Right now, before we've lost anything, before it's too late, what changes do you need to make in your life right now? This has got to go. This has got to... See, I'm sitting at a doctor's appointment right now. Right now, we're looking at a list on this page of silent killers. The problem is I like every one of them. Okay, which one in here's got to go? Okay, I'm done eating that. I'm done feeding myself with that. That's got to go. I'm making changes. Right now, I'm making changes. Right now, I'm going to change my diet. And right now, I'm going to start doing some regular medication. Twice a day, 3 times a day, 6 times a day. I've got to really address this issue aggressively. Lord, direct and guide us by your Holy Spirit. Help us as we overcome and defeat these silent killers in our life so that we live the life that's in our heart to live, so that we live happy, that we live having fun, that we live blessed, that we live prosperous, that we live healthy, that we live successful in every area of our life. Direct and guide us, Holy Spirit, as we attune ourselves